Hello guys, welcome back once again. Today we'll be looking at pivot tables. And what are pivot tables? These are tools in Excel that you use to organize, summarize, and analyze your data. You use pivot table mostly when you're working with large amount of data sets. Just think of it as a report that can automatically help you group numbers, add up numbers together, show averages of those numbers without you performing any calculations at all. All you just have to do is just drag and drop. You don't need to be a data expert to do it. All you have to do is just drag and drop. Okay, let's check this out together.
Alright, we'll start by looking at how to create a pivot table in Microsoft Excel. So I have a data here, contains dates, some salespersons, the regions where they've made sales, and the amount of sales that's made. So I want to use the pivot table to summarize this data and also use the pivot table to answer some certain questions. So to insert this data into pivot table, all I have to do is to highlight the whole table or the whole data. Then in your insert tab, inside the tables group, you see the command pivot table. Click on this drop down button. You can see we have two options here. We have either from table or range or from external data source. The data I want to work with is currently on this sheet, and I've highlighted already, so I'll just select from table or range. So we have this pivot table from table or range dialog box. The first thing here is select the table or range. We've highlighted it already. So choose where you want the pivot table to be placed. Do you want it to be on a new worksheet or on the existing worksheet? If I want it to be on this particular sheet where the data is, I'll select existing worksheet, then come back here to select where I want it to be. But I don't want it to be on this worksheet that I'm on. I want it to be on a new worksheet. So I'll click on new worksheet. You can see we have the option to add this data to data model. We'll be looking at this in Power Pivot. That's when we get to that point we are treating Power Pivot. But for now, I want to add this data to data model. So I'll just hit the OK button. So you now have the data here in, you have it in another sheet. Then here we have the pivot table fields. This is where you get to see your data, everything here. Then we have some panes here. We have the filter pane, the columns pane, the rows pane, and the values pane. Anytime you drag your data, any of this data here, into the filter pane, you can use it to filter your data. If you drag it, any of the data here, to your columns field, it would arrange the data in columns. If you drag any of the data here to your row field, it will arrange the data in rows. Same thing for values, this only accept numerical data type, numerical data. Alright, so if I should click on sales amount, it contains numbers, right? Automatically it goes to the values field. That's because Excel detects that this is a column that contains numerical data. That was why it took it straight to the values field. If I select any of those columns that contain text data type, like sales, can see it on the row because why? These are text data type. So it can either take text data type to your rows or column, but you can be the one to specify where you want them to be. Alright, so with pivot table, you can use it to summarize your data. Look at this data we have here. I want to answer some certain questions using our pivot table. The first question I want to answer now is, what is the total sales amount for each salesperson? What is the total sales amount for each salesperson? So I'm going to drag this. Either I check the box and it goes straight to the row, then I'll check the sales amount, go straight to the values field. So you can see now we have each salesperson and the total amount of sales that they made. By default, it will sum everything up. If you want to change it to average, all you have to do is to click on your value feed setting. And how do you get your value feed setting? Is either you right click here, then you see the value feed settings, or you come down here in your values pane click on the drop down button here and select value feed setting. What this value feed setting will do is it will help you change the aggregation method. It will help you change your aggregation. So if you don't want to use sum, you want to use average, you can see it here. This is a dialog box for value feed setting. You're saying sum, you want to find count, you want to find average, or the maximum or the minimum. So if you just want to change the aggregations, you can just use your value feed settings to do that. So if I want to leave it at average, now hit OK. You can see it has changed it. Now I'm saying average. You can always format the way you format normally in. So come here, you can say, okay, you want to add comma, you want to reduce the sum, so you can always format your pivot table that way. So we have this, but I'm going to leave it at sum. I don't want average. What the question is to find sum. So you can change the name. If you don't want it to be sum of, you can give it total sales or total amount. Instead of sum of sales amount, I can say, okay, I want total sales. And I'll hit OK. So you can see the name has changed. Alright, so the next question I want to answer using this data is, what are the total sales amount for each day? What are the total sales amount for each day? And how do I get that total sales amount for each day? You can copy, either you copy this pivot table, Ctrl C, then paste it here, Ctrl V. I'll show you the other method when we're working on the next question. I want to see sales, total sales for each day. So I'll just drag out this salesperson and I'll bring my date, drag my date here to the column. So I get to see the total sales for each. Now, currently you're seeing this is, it's showing that splitted it month, day, and so what if I don't want it to be, I don't want to see the month, I'll drag it out. I don't want to see the dates, drag it out. So you can see it for each day. This is the sales made for each day. So now you can insert pivot table again without copying your pivot table. One of the reasons why we copy pivot table is because we want to create connection between both pivot tables. So I can just click on anywhere on the cell, go back to my insert tab, then come here and click on. So you can see, is it from date from table range? Now the reason why we will not be able to do that now is because we didn't add that data to data model, so we cannot. If not, this would have been active for us to select the data that I'm working with. So I'll just continue with copying my pivot table, Ctrl C, then I'll paste it here, Ctrl V. So the next question we want to look at is how do sales figures compare across regions? We want to see sales made in different regions. So I'll just remove this, drag this out, remove it to drag it out. Then I'll check the sales, the region. So you can see now in the east, a total of 21,000 was made. In the north, 18,500. South, then we have for west. So you can see how that we use pivot table to summarize the whole data. The next is let's look at what is the average sales amount for each salesperson. The average sales amount for each salesperson. All I have to do is still, I think this is still active. It means it's still copied. Ctrl V to paste it. Then I'll remove the days here. I want to see the average amount for each salesperson. So I'll check the salesperson box and come here to change from sum to average. Come here, value feed settings, and I'll change it to average. Then I can still leave it this way, the title this way. Then I'll hit OK. Can you see that now? You can see the average of each salesperson. What if I don't want this to be displayed as sales but in percentage? All you have to do is just still highlight, or you come down here, value feed setting. So you see this is summarized values by. Click on show value as. Currently is on no calculation. I'll click on this drop down button and I'll say okay, I want to see the percentage of grand total. Let's hit OK. So can you see now? Okay, this is even showing. Let me percentage of grand total. I don't want it to show percentage of grand total. Let me see. Show value as, let's say, percentage of let's look at row. What it shows currently for each row. This is for each row. It's saying that Alice, for what Alice made is 100%. So we don't want it to show that way. let's go back. Values fit setting, show value as. Let's check out for column. Let's see what it shows for column. Can you see for each column 9.64, Bob 80.79, Charlie. This is not giving what it should give. Okay, this is on the average. So let's try it out on. Let's go back. Just going to, I won't do it on. Okay, let's try it out on total sales. I'm highlighting everything now. I want to see the percentage of the sales made. Show value as. Currently there's no calculation. I'm going to give grand total, and I'll hit OK. So can you see now? You can see that Alice made 26.93% of the total sales. Bob made 19.65. Charlie made 30.57. Dave made 22.85. Can you see that? All right. So let's look at what are the sales? I mean, the total sales for each salesperson within each region. If I'm going to do this now, I want to see the total sales for each salesperson within the region. So Ctrl C to copy, then come here, then Ctrl V to paste it. Total sales for each salesperson in each region. Salesperson is checked, so I'm going to change this from average to sum. Okay, then I will add my sales region, drag it now to the columns. So this way I get to see the amount made. This is for every salesperson. In East, only Charlie made this amount in East. In North, Alice made this amount in North. In South, Bob made this amount. In West, he made this amount. What if, okay, I don't want it to be arranged this way, I don't want it to show this way, I want them to be both the region and the salesperson should be on rows. So I'll drag this to row. So you can see this now. I get to say, okay, Alice made this particular amount in North. Okay, let me arrange it now by dragging to arrange this. Drag this up. Then you can see in East, Charlie made this amount. In North, Alice made this amount. In South, Bob made this amount. In West, Dave made this amount. Currently, this is in compact form. What if I wanted to show in tabular form? So we have some contextual tab here for the pivot table. The pivot table analyze and the design tab. You use these tabs, this contextual tab to change the layout and format your pivot table. So I'm just going to click on design. So here in design, I want to change this from this compact form to the tabular form. So come here in my layout tab, click on the drop down button, and as currently you can see show in compact form, I want to show in tabular form. So you can see now we have for each region, we have the salesperson, both have their columns now. What if I don't want to show this grand total? Still selecting, I'll just select anywhere on my pivot table, then go back to my design tab, then come back to the layout, can see grand totals. Just say either off, you can off for rows and column, or on for rows and column, or off for only rows. That's if you have a grand total for both rows and column. Currently we have for the row, so I'm just going to, I can just click on off for rows and columns, so you can't find it here again. You can't find that grand total here. If you want to add it back, just select anywhere on your pivot table, go to your design, then come here, for layout, grand total, then you can on it back and you have it. Okay, so what else do you want to look at? Okay, I want to see what are the sales trend for each salesperson over time. The sales trend for each salesperson over time. I think we've checked this out already. The sales trend for each salesperson over time. So let's see sales trend for each salesperson. You can just copy this, Ctrl C, bring it here, Ctrl V. Then want to see sales trend for each salesperson over time. Select date. I'll remove the region. Sales trend for each salesperson over time. So you can see when you click on this plus, get to see the days. I can just change this back to compact form, so you can see what I'm trying to explain well. Show in compact form, so you can see in January, these are the days in January, and these are the sales made in those days. click for February, these are the sales made in the days in February, and these are the sales made in those days. For March, same thing. For April, same thing. So this is how you use pivot table to summarize your data. So if you want to change, there are different, it's not just only this type of design or we have for pivot. You can come here to pivot analyze. So it's your design tab and you see different style that you can change your pivot table to be in. Different style. Okay, so let's look at your pivot table analyze. You can change your pivot table name here. You can change the active field name here. So there are different options here. If you want to refresh your pivot table, you can do that here. You can click on the drop down button here to refresh. So you can click on your pivot table to refresh. Just select anywhere. Then here in pivot table analyze, if you want to refresh this particular, you can, so when you click on the drop down button, you see refresh or refresh all. If you hit refresh, it means you only want to refresh that particular pivot table you selected. But if you click refresh all, it will refresh all the pivot table that you have here. So that's that for refreshing your data. If maybe your feed list is not showing, this feed pane here is not showing. If I uncheck this now, you can't find it here. If I click on this, you can't find it anytime on the norms. When you select any part on your pivot table, you should have that feed list pane pops up. But if you can't find it, just go click on your pivot table analyze, then come here and click on feed list. So you have it here. So let's see. Go back. What does this buttons now? You can't find those. Add the buttons back. Feed headers. So that's that on using pivot table to summarize your data. You can see how you can just use your value feed setting to do anything. If I want to sort this now, I want to sort from maybe the average of sales from highest to lowest, or from largest to smallest. Right click, then you see sort. You can see sort smallest to largest or sort largest to smallest. Anyhow you want to sort it. If you want to sort it based on the name, you want to sort in alphabetical order, you can come here sort. You're sorting from, what do you want to sort from? Right click, you want to sort from A to Z, to sort it from A to Z. So you can see that. So what else do you want to look at again? Yes, let's try out this filter. So let's say I'm working with this salesperson here. If I want to slice through to see for the people working in the north, just bring my filter here, my region into the filter pane, click on drop down button and it's okay. So you can see we have the region all. Click on this drop down button. Currently is on all, so I'll check select multiple items, uncheck all, then check north, then hit OK. So I have for north only, but I don't want for north, I want to see for east and north. Select both and I have this. So this is how you use your filter here in pivot table. Alright, I hope you need to learn one or two here. One thing you should know, that anytime you create a pivot table, your data must have headers. It must have headers. Alright, do well to practice as much as you can. Don't forget to like, share and hit the subscribe button. See you in our next video. Bye.